Most people think that they need over 500 CRS points to qualify for Canadian PR, irrespective of whether they are outside or inside Canada. What if I told you that it's just not true? What if I told you with just 350 points, some occupations can easily qualify for PR in Canada, even without an LMIA, no job offer, or no Canadian work experience? Stay tuned for the entire video while I cover two main provinces, Ontario and Saskatchewan. I'll be talking about how you can easily qualify for PR in any of these two provinces, and I'll talk about what your knock codes must be. So let's talk about Ontario and Saskatchewan and see how you can get your Canadian PR whether you are inside Canada already on a temporary status or you are outside Canada. Let's get right to it. Now, for those of you who are new here, my name is Priya and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I head Bluewater Immigration, and in this channel, I discuss everything immigration and beyond. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And if you find this video useful, my humble request to you to please like the video before you leave. Now let's jump right to it. There are 47 key occupations that are in demand in the province of Ontario. If you have experience in any of these 47 different occupations and your current responsibilities match with any of the knock codes that I will talk about soon, you could get a notification of interest from Ontario even if you have a score of just 350. Isn't this wonderful? The most recent draw was held on March 1st, 2024, and candidates who had a CRS score of between 350 and 424 were invited. You don't need a job offer and no Canadian work experience, and definitely no LMIA. You only need overall work experience of at least 1 full year, and of course, your points will be higher if you had more years of work experience. Now, let me say here that just because your score falls between 350 to 424 doesn't mean you most certainly will get nominated by Ontario. It all depends on their labor market needs, and they have draws based on that need. So not all the in-demand knock codes mentioned in this video are picked at all times. The chances are higher as you see them being picked every time there is a draw, but it's not necessary. Just a word of caution. Here's the first set of knock codes for tradespeople that are highly in demand in Ontario. You can pause this video now and take a look at these knock codes carefully. I'll also leave the link to the OINP page, which will lead to this info, in the description below. And here is another set of knock codes. Now I urge you again to pause the video and go through these knock codes carefully. I'm saying this because I had a consultation this morning with a client whose husband clearly qualifies for this program as he's a licensed HVAC technician. They did not try this route for PR. Instead, the wife came to Canada, spent thousands of dollars doing a 1-year postgraduate diploma, for which she will only get a 1-year PGWP, and even after working in Canada for 1 full year, she may not qualify for PR as her occupation is not in demand and she will not make the cut for CRS scores. So before making a decision and picking the program to come to Canada, it's a good idea to look at all aspects and know all your options well to make an informed decision. Don't be in a rush to go pay that initial deposit or what have you to that agency that's luring you in with some type of a limited time offer. So take your time and do your research. And the last set of knock codes, you see so many of you can actually qualify without any job offers from Canada, also no LMIA or Canadian work experience. There is one problem though. You will know when I do the CRS score calculation to show it to you. So let's do that now. So if you take someone, for an example here, someone who is 40 years old, married, we are doing an application with a non-accompanying spouse, has a 3-year bachelor degree and has an additional 1 or 2 year certification, has more than 3 years of work experience, and has an IELTS score of 7.5 in speaking, 8 in listening, 8 in reading, and 6.5 in writing, then their CRS score is actually 350. Now I'll leave the link to check your own CRS score in the description below. Please do your own calculations. It's actually not that hard. Now, see, the challenge here is that the IELTS score had to be slightly higher, and the person had to have completed at least a bachelor degree and complete another qualifying certification to get the 350 points. It's challenging here more so because of the age, 40 years. Once you bring down the age to say 35, then even just a bachelor degree alone the person gets a score of 357. Now, if you're not sure you qualify, although it's quite simple to do your own CRS calculations, if you'd like me to do your CRS scores based on the info you provide and help you with just a general eligibility, please book a paid call. I get on average 15 to 20 requests per day, and unless it's a paid call, I am unable to dedicate the time as much as I'd like to help out. A 10-minute call is sufficient to assess eligibility, and the link to book this call is in the description below. Now for SINP, the first thing I'd like to say is that in 2024, these minimum scores have gone up from 60 to 89. But the good news is that it may drop at any time, and if you're active in the pool, you may have an excellent chance of receiving a nomination. Again, pause this video and take a look at these knock codes. So if you are from India, Ireland, Poland, Germany, Lithuania, Slovakia, or Ukraine, and you have any of these knock codes, you could consider applying to Saskatchewan. It is relatively simple to get 60 points. If you have more, the better. Recent scores are hovering around 89, like I said, which is quite difficult unless you have a job offer or work experience in Saskatchewan, among other criteria. Now, I'd like to clarify a very common confusion here, but just before I jump into that, if you are finding the video useful so far, just a gentle reminder to like the video so it can reach a wider audience. And of course, please do consider subscribing so that I can continue to make more of such content that's relevant to you. Okay, so now back to this. There are two ways to apply for Canadian PR. One is the express entry route, as many of you know, in which case you can also express interest in a particular province. And the other way is only the PNP route and has nothing to do with federal. I like keeping options open as much as possible if the client qualifies. So in cases when we do both express entry and PNP, and if you receive an ITA before the nomination from the province, you will be given a choice whether or not you want to go ahead or wait for the nomination, or you may get the nomination first from the province and then you can decide if you want to go ahead with it or continue to wait for the federal ITA. Now, if you accept the ITA, if you received it first, you cannot receive any nomination from any province after that. They will all back out of the process. But why do you need a provincial nomination when the federal is inviting you to apply in any case? So that's just something to keep in mind. My piece of advice is to take whatever comes first. Just grab and run with it. I do appreciate you taking the time to watch till the end, and I hope you got something useful from this video today. I thank you for your continued support and wish you good luck.